I'm doing. Um, we are back again for the second time today. Um, now, today, we're gonna be doing something interesting. Um, as you may have saw by the title and thumbnail of this video, when can we expect the first launch from Pad B, aka this little fun thing behind me? Yes, I did put the ship and booster back up because frankly, it looked pretty plain without the ship and booster. So you know what? I just needed to put it back on. I just have to put the chopsticks back up. Picky uppies. Picky. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, Pad B. When can we expect the first launch? So, let's think about where Pad B is right now. So, Pad B currently, if I'm not wrong, currently is doing chopstick testing. From the last time I saw. I'm going to look right now, but from what we saw, it was doing chopstick testing, or like load testing and stuff like that. So, where is the message stream? One moment. One momento. Oh, okay. Well, currently Pad B's chopsticks are done load testing. If you can see. So there's Pad B. Chopsticks have been... There's the load testers, and then there's the production site, and then Pad A in the top. Let me go back to when they were actually still testing the stickies. There we go. Okay, that's when they were testing, is those little water bags filled with water. They're called water bags for a reason. So, yeah. So chopsticks have been load tested, if not still currently load testing. Don't know if they're quite done yet. But, so, when is it gonna happen? Is the big question that everybody is wondering. When can we expect the first launch from Pad B? I would say we could see the first full stack, because if we remember back to way back, early Starship history, if we remember, the first ship and booster that was stacked wasn't actually, like, what's the word I'm looking for? The first ship and booster that were actually stacked didn't actually go for flight. It was booster 4 and ship 23 or something like that. I don't remember. Or maybe ship 20? I think it was ship 20 was the first ship that was stacked. Anyways, so, yeah, they'll probably do something similar, but instead of having to use a crane to load them, which they may still do that just for the first time, and then the second time, no, I think they'll go straight into just using the Pad B chopsticks, if anything. So, let's think. Load spurters, oh my god. Chopstick load testing is either done or is still being worked on. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. The orbital launch mount has been installed and seemingly welded, so good signs. Flame trench dug is almost done. having a couple more final works with the pad, having the gantry system. Gantry systems being worked on. And then that's about. Well, obviously the chopsticks work. Actuators are installed. Hydraulics are installed, or the lifts are installed. Plumbing, I think, is basically almost there. The ship QD arm, we still need that, but that is at Sanchez. We just don't know when it's gonna actually like roll out to the pad because they seemingly have put like no attention on it. But I don't know, like we could expect. My theory is that we could probably see a launch maybe in summertime. Like, possibly. Like, because if we think by the end of the summer, like, it'll be August, or like, I'm doing it off of school summer. Like, school summer, that's like in August, the end of that. I think we could see it maybe early, maybe mid, possibly in August going into September. I hope they do a launch on my birthday, September 13th. So yeah, I mean that's my theory that the first launch could happen in August 2025, maybe. But let's think about the factors here. We need chopsticks, QD arm, well, actually, let me just adjust this, and then put. We'll just move my chair out of the way, and I can show y'all. Okay, oops. Oh crap. Oh crud. Oh boy. Please hold. There we go. Okay. So, bringing my beautiful models out. A little bit of cricketing. Okay, so we have tower. Yeah, this thing is almost as tall as me. I'm like 5'5" or something. Like, this thing is tall compared to me. So we need. Okay, so here are the main factors. We need. Maybe I can just get this back on. Okay. So we need chopsticks for being able to open and close, then being able to pivot for like stacking and stuff, and additionally for stacking, boy. Additionally for stacking, the ability to move up and down. So like the ability to pick up a shipper booster, if it would stop, picking up the hot staging ring. I have to sand down the connection points in the hot staging ring because that's what keeps messing with it. The ability to be able to stack. Oh boy. Yeah, the ability to be able to stack ships and boosters. Yeah, the ability to be able to stack ships and boosters. The ability to catch ships and boosters. Yes, ships and boosters. Or sorry, boosters and ships, because Pad B, if you didn't watch my other live stream, Pad B, or like the one of the first live streams that I did in a while, so like the one that was a few days ago, like maybe a week or two ago, I mentioned that Pad B will be the first one to actually catch a ship. And yes, because let's say this was Pad B or Pad A for a second. So you launch and you're off, and then boom, 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 things happen. Stage separation happens, and then the ship goes in this coasting phase, and we won't see it for another hour or so, or an hour and a half around, because it takes like 90 minutes. The booster comes back, and let's pretend this is Pad A. Booster comes back, comes down, goes into the arms of Pad A, hits the Pad A chopsticks, and then just catch. That's all well and great, but unless they radically change their systems by the time Pad B is operational, which is not in the very distant future, so that could be happening pretty soon, personally, I don't think that they're going to be able to drop this booster all the way back to the pad, down into the OLM, or the original OLM, quickly, bring the chopstick all the way back up and get them ready for another catch with the ship, and then also move the chopsticks in position to catch a ship, because the ship would probably come in over here, because they can't have them catch like this, because the booster's right here, and that could cause so many issues. So my theory is, pretend this is Pad B now, which it is Pad B, so you don't have to pretend. So the booster is at Pad A, and Pad B's chopsticks are already sitting there waiting. You have your ship coming down, like it just, it does its flip, and then it already, like, I think they're gonna come in like this, so like the engine's facing away from the chopsticks, and they're not gonna do that, obviously. But like, they're gonna come down, they're gonna flip, and then, well, they're gonna flip, and then they'll move in the flaps, and then they'll gonna come in and then be got by the chopsticks, and then boom. So, and then they'll have a ship. Because, again, I don't think that they're going to be able to catch a ship and a booster, like, at the same time. Like, if you've watched, I don't remember what his name is, but, like, if you've watched the guy who makes those, like, Starship animations and stuff like that, he has it where the launch mount is just, like, it kind of rolls, like, SPMTs come out and it, like, rolls the booster away. But you kind of got to be slow with that. And so, like, that allows you to, like, catch the ship easier, because you don't have to worry about the booster. But their systems, for one, if you saw the debate of whether the orbital launch mount is going to be mobile or welded down, has finally been answered. It's welded down. They welded the launch mount down, so there is no, well, I wonder if it's going to be mobile or not. It's not mobile. That's the final answer that we have gotten from the videos, is that it's welded down. So, no. To answer that question, the launch mount is not going to be mobile. And then, yeah, so that's the first thing, being able to catch ships and boosters. The second thing is pad hardware, aka, like, kind of really the big thing to allow this stuff to happen. Pad construction. I don't really know if this thing is big. You have the actual orbital launch mount and then the actual flame trench. Of course, this is not how it's actually going to look because this is someone else's rendering from like a while ago before we actually knew what the trench was going to look like. And before we had the gantry too, so they'll probably come out with an updated design and I'll have to reprint this entire thing. Well, maybe not the entire thing. As long as they keep the main thing with the tower the same, I can just reprint the base and stuff, but whatever. Yeah, the next thing is the pad. If they don't have the pad ready, then there's no thing. Because, we know very, 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 very well about, Pad A's launch mount. This is my other tower model. This thing. This little thing right here. The 6-legged thing that is not the best. So they need to have the flame trench and the actual OLM itself. And don't forget about the hold down clamps on the OLM. To be able to like, hold on. To be able to like hold the booster down during like static fires and stuff like that. Oh yes, and then the other big thing, I can't believe I almost forgot about this, but it's something to do with the pad hardware. This is kind of just like a sub category. The booster quick disconnect. They can't launch if the booster doesn't have any fuel in it, so they need something on the OLM to be able to fuel booster. Now, of course, we know that they are making this pad specifically for block. At this point, I don't even know what to call them. I'm going to call them Block 2. Y'all can come at me in the comments, or V2. Y'all can come at me in the comments because I really don't care about the naming scheme. I'm calling it V2 because that's all I know. It's the version 2. Technically, like, on my store, I call it the appropriate names, but, like, technically, the next generation ship the next generation booster is a V3 booster because you have, like, Booster 4, which was a V1, and then Booster 14, 15, 16, or, like, Boosters, like, 10 through, like, Boosters 7 through 17 are Block 1, or Block 2 boosters, and then this next one is going to be a Block 3 booster, and then the next one that has 35 engines is going to be a Block 4 booster. I don't really care. I'm calling it a Block 2 booster. I'm going off of Elon's presentation a couple of years ago. So it's meant for Block 2 boosters. So it's gonna have 2 quick disconnect arms. Booster quick disconnect thingy things, gantry things. So yeah, it'll still be able to have Block 1 boosters, but yeah. But yeah, ultimately, their goal is to be able to have reusability. For great example, let's pretend that this booster right here, my first one of these prototypes that is, in the process of me moving this around and the tower falling and stuff, has lost a couple of engines. Oops. Let's say that this is booster, let's say this is booster 18, the first Block 2 ship, or booster. Block 3 booster, whatever, I don't really care. Let's say this is the first Block 2 booster. Has a fixed hot staging ring, doesn't go anywhere. So it comes down, and the tower just goes yoink, catches the booster. The booster is then, the booster is then, it doesn't have to go up like this, I just have a stopper. Then the booster is immediately after catch, Really, what they could do, theoretically, is they could, when the booster's coming down, have the chopsticks already slightly moving down, or like really slowly moving down, so that when the booster comes down, they catch it, they catch the booster, and then the chopsticks are already going down, and then they slow down, and then they put the booster where it needs to go, put it in the OLM, they move right back up to catch position, and then as soon as catch position has been achieved, let's say that this is a Block 2 ship, because probably by the time we have Booster 18, we'll still have Block 2 ships. Maybe with ship 39, I think is going to be a Block 3 ship. Then the Block 3, or the ship comes down, and then flips, caught by the tower, and then it takes a second, detanks. The booster will already be detanking on the pad. Like as soon as it gets down, it'll start detanking. Mind you, by the time the ship comes back, or any sort of ship come back, it should be a little while. And then as soon as that's done, they will drop the they'll drop the chopsticks down to the to bring the ship to the booster. I will fix this in just a second. They bring the ship down to the booster, connect the two, flaps do a quick little wiggle test just to make sure that they're working okay. And then after that, the aft flap wiggle test is what I'm officially dubbing it, because aft flap wiggle test. Then they will go for the forward flap wiggle test. They'll do the quick little wiggles, wiggle, 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 and then as soon as those forward flaps are wiggled, then they'll reignite the engine. The engines well, actually no, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. They'll bring the QD arm over, fuel the ship, disconnect it, and then as it's launching, QD arm goes away, and then they're off again, and then the whole process repeats of booster coming down, being caught by the tower, being placed on the OLM, being set down, ship coming back, or a ship coming back in, being set on the booster, and then the process repeats over and over and over and over and over again. Now I lost complete track of what I was going to say. Oh yeah, mind you, after they know, so they'll probably do a couple of flights with Pad B, so for flight, as you saw by the thumbnail, I theorize that we're gonna be maybe on flight 12 by the time August rolls around, and that's when we could get the first launch. Because flight 9 is now, they could do flight 10 in June, maybe July, and then they could do flight 11, well actually it could be as soon as flight 11, but I would think that it would happen by flight 12 or something. But anyways, I could be wrong with the August thing, but I think they're going to do it by like flight 12. It's going to be when the first full stack goes on and launches. Though honestly, they could probably take like, no, I was about to say they could probably take like booster 12 and get like ship 20 or something, but nah. But yeah, so by the time, they'll probably do 3 or 4 flights with Pad B, just to certify it, make sure that it works properly. So we'll probably be, if they do like 3 flights with Pad B, we'll be flight 15. And then after they certified it and make sure everything is going well and nothing is going wrong with the pad, because it really doesn't matter about the ship and booster. If something goes wrong with the ship and booster, that doesn't affect the readiness of the pad. As long as the pad's chopsticks work, QD arm works, booster quick disconnect, flame trench, and pad work, then that's fine. We don't really care if anything happens to the ship or booster as long as the tower is okay for pad B. Once that happens, they will swing into project pad B 2.0 or pad A 2.0. So they will go and they will stop and cancel all flights from pad A, and then they will basically remove the original OLM and just they're gonna refurbish pad A and make it into another pad B. Give it its own flame trench, its own OLM. We're speculating that soon-ish they're gonna start building a second one of these orbital launch mounts for pad A, and then as soon as that's done, they can just... So either they'll start building it, and then as soon as that's done, I would assume that they would start building the OLM concurrently with refurbishment of the pad. So they'll probably tear down the OLM, or the old one, because it's not like they're building a whole new tower. Like, I don't know if they're going to make the chopsticks any shorter. If there's a possibility that after they verify the systems of these chopsticks, that they'll just take off these chopsticks and or the pad A chopstick and just cut them in half and make them pad B chopstick or shorter chopsticks. I don't know if they're going to do that. But really, they're not making a whole new tower, so it's not going to take as long as pad B has. They're just getting rid of the old OLM, digging a new trench, building a new pad, building a new gantry, building a new booster quick disconnect. So basically just redoing pad B, except they have something to go off of now, so it's not even going to take nearly as long because they have pad B to go off of, because they've already built one of these things before. So, but anyways, so we covered, let's see, the chopsticks, the pad, which would be the flame trench, pad B, what else? I mean, obviously the ship quick disconnect, because you can't fly a ship without it having fuel. I think that's about it. I think it's like ship, pad. Oh, and the vehicles too. So probably by the time we have flight 12, so if they keep reusing boosters, so we could potentially, so let's think about this. So flight 9 is using booster 14 and ship 35. Booster 14 will be expended into the Gulf of Mexico. Ship 35 will be expended into the Indian Ocean if everything goes well. And then after that, if things goes well, yeah, so if everything goes well, it'll go to the Indian Ocean. By flight 10, well, if there's speculation that flight 10 is going to reuse booster 15, and then they'll they'll fly ship 36. So flight 10 will have 15 and 36. They may go for a catch with 15 and reuse it a third time. If they do, then we potentially could see booster 16 and ship 37, or yes, booster 15 and ship 37 on flight 10, and then flight 11 potentially, if they, or it could be booster 16, because they will have to refurbish booster 15, and unless they can get that done super quickly, it's going to take them a bit. And potentially ship 36. They may not want to reuse their first ship that they catch if everything goes well and they don't want to splash down again with 35 and just go for the catch with 36. I personally think what they should do is, I know they have to make sure it actually gets to Seco first, but I think what they should do is, like, after 35 with 36, they adjust their flight plan and then they go around, they get into orbit, make sure everything goes well, and then they come down on the Gulf of Mexico and then splash down in the Gulf of Mexico near the pad, kind of where the booster splashes down, just to make sure that it can actually do that. And then on flight 11 with ship 37, they actually go for the catch. That's what I think they should do. I also kind of hope that they do 36 for the first catch if 35 goes well, but we can't know anything quite yet. So then yeah, by flight 11 we'll have by flight 11 we'll hopefully have booster 16 and ship, if they catch the ship on flight 10. Wait, I already mentioned flight 11. Did I already mention flight 11? No. Or, yes, I did. Because it could be booster 16 and ship 37, which could come in for the catch. And then potentially, if they do decide to reuse 36, if they catch it on flight 10, then we could see for flight 12, we could see booster 15 for a third time, or booster 17, or they could just skip booster 17 and just go straight to booster 18, and then maybe ship 36 if they decide to reuse the ship. If not ship 36, they'll most likely use ship 38, because then ship 39 will be the block 3 variant, and I don't think they want to go for that yet, like, right for that, but yeah. And then flight 13 will potentially be booster 16 and ship booster 16 and ship maybe 37 by 13. And then on 14 they could have ship 38 reused again, and then I think once they get Pad B running, they're just gonna keep, like, I think after they reuse booster 15 and then reuse a ship once or twice, they're just gonna go. Like, they're gonna load these things up with actual Starlinks and start going for Starlink missions. Like, that's what I think, but, like, I think that is very plausible for them to do. Like, I think as soon as they verify that they can catch a ship and reuse a ship, and catch a booster and reuse a booster, then they're just gonna go for Starlink missions, and they're just gonna boom, 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 and then return to the ship and stuff like that. They'll probably still do live streams. They probably won't do commentary anymore. Probably for the first, like, 2 or 3 Starlink missions, they'll do commentary, but then after that, like, we know now, with Falcon 9, with the Starlink missions, they don't do commentary anymore. They kind of just live stream the thing. So eventually we'll get to that point. They'll definitely live stream, the first Mars launch. That will be cool, because the next window opens in October of 2026, and really, at the rate they're going now, I think they can make it by October of 2026. That's, like, almost the end of the year. That's, like, 2 months away from the end of the year in 2026. I think they can make it to... I think they'll be ready to go to Mars, uncrewed, mind you, in 2026. And then the next window opens, I think, in, like, sometime in 2027. Or not 2027, 2028. And then... yeah, and then that's when, if everything goes well on the uncrewed flight, they'll send a crewed flight, and then boom. And then they'll have the moon missions in 2027, so they'll definitely be able to have a crew variant. sort of starship with HLS. So yeah, I think that basically to summarize this live stream, I think that we could see flight on Pad B as early as flight 12, and I think pretty much afterwards after a couple of flights to verify the tower, they'll go straight into refurbishment for Pad A, and then they'll do that, and then definitely by the time we have Pad B working, we're gonna hopefully have LC39 AB, because like I don't really know what they're gonna call it. Like, are they gonna call it the LC39A Starship and then just call it LC39 Falcon, or like LC39F and LC39S? Like, I don't really know what they're gonna do. My thought is that they're gonna do like LC39A and then LC39, because it's weird because LC stands for Launch Complex. So, like, the Starship Tower isn't its own complex. I mean, I guess it kind of is. So, like, they could do it one of two ways. They could either do LC39A, or they could do it like 3 or 4 ways. LC39A and LC39B for the normal LC39B, and then make the Starship Tower LC39C. Or they could do LC39F for Falcon, and then LC39S for Starship, and keep LC39B the same. And then, or they could do LC39A, and then LC39AS, and then LC39B, and then LC39A, LC39AB for the Starship Tower, and then LC39B. But I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. They could just call it the Florida Starship Launchpad, or they could call it Pad C. Honestly, they could just call it Pad C and then just call it LC39C, because at that point because you have Pad A, which is the first tower, Pad A, which is the first tower, Pad B, which is the second tower, and then Pad C, which is the third tower in Florida, when that actually comes online. So, but yeah. So, to wrap up this stream, I will say thank you to a couple of people and mention a couple of sponsors. So starting with thank you for all of the people. Thank you to all of you guys for watching my content recently, and just over the last basically 2 years. We have not very long until this channel is 2 years old. That is honestly ridiculous. Oh, actually, I just thought, if I check again, I made it in my community post. I am just not really, like, paying attention. May 20th. Oh, no. I was about to say, May 26th, we could have had a Starship launch. But no, we can't. That'd be really cool if we had a Starship launch on the same day as this channel's 20th anniversary, or not 20th anniversary, where have I been? As the second anniversary. Anyways, so, yeah. Thank you to all of you guys for watching for the last 2 years, and sponsor time. This video not only is sponsored by my friends over at vidIQ, because they're the best. Thanks, vidIQ. Check my link down in the description to get to support me. When you buy a subscription, it gets a little bit of, it's an affiliate link. It gives a little bit back to me, so that is very much appreciated. I am in close contact with vidIQ, so. And my second sponsor is, well, me. And what I mean by that is our store. Currently, we have a couple of products. I will pull them up right now and make sure I'm getting them all right and read to you guys what they are. And where is it? Okay, so currently on this shop, we have currently on the store, we have the Block 1, or the Starship Block 1 1/200th scale model. The the Starship Block 2 1/200th scale model. Oh, I should probably say the prices. Block 1, $25, starting at $25 plus any accessories. You can go check those out. Block 2 is starting at $30. And then plus any accessories will come out to more, depending on what accessories you get. And then we have the good old one that started it all, Starhopper, 1/200th scale, is $10. I think it's just, oh yeah, and then it's $15 if you want it painted. Then we have the super heavy booster block 2 1/200th scale. And just for any confusion for people who go by the same thing as me, this is the block 1 booster, but I'm going by SpaceX's terms that the next generation booster is Gen 3. So, and the hot staging ring just fell off, and it broke all of the pins, or the connector pins, whatever. Your connector pins will not break. I can all but guarantee that. Well, not all but guarantee that. I can guarantee that. Let me check. And then we have, of course, the Starship Block 2 1/100th scale model. Come on. Let's see. Another one of the oldies, SN5 and the SN5 and 6 test vehicle, 1/200th scale, starting at $15. This Starship is $50, or starting at $50. This one's $35, starting at Starhopper is $10 and stuff like that. The super heavy booster, which not that one, the actually good looking one, does come with the hot staging ring. It just fell off. The Starship, or the super heavy booster 1/100th scale, starting out at $65. Okay, and then the Starship full scale bundle, or Starship full stack bundle, 1/100th scale, which is starting at $100, which comes with the ship and the booster. Yeah, starting at 100. The starting at 100 is just no paint, just printed, and that's it. Like no stands or anything, and then it just gradually goes up. So yeah, and then you guys can check that out. All those other ones I eventually will be putting on as well, especially this one. I'll show you guys this booster. I thought I put in the block. Oops, I thought I put in the block 1 booster, but maybe I didn't. Like the early SN 15 vehicles and stuff, those will eventually come into shop. And then I have to show you guys these two cool ones that I made specifically for the members and the people who buy a certain amount of stuff, or like a certain amount of money worth of stuff. So this is the Block 3 booster, according to SpaceX. You may be like thinking, or technically this is Block 4. You may be thinking, well, what's so Block 4 about? It still has 4 grid fins. Like, it just looks like a regular booster. That's until you look at the engine layout. If you see there's 35 engines instead of 33. So that is the Block 2 booster, or the Block 4 technically. It's not the Block 3, because the Block 3 is the next generation booster, still only has 33. The Raptor Sea Level engine, don't remember what scale this is. I think it's 1/100th, I think, of the actual thing. The vacuum engine, 1/100th scale. Pretty cool. And then the exclusives for my members and for the people who spend a specific amount of money is the Golden Starship Block 1, what was I calling this? The Starship Block 1 1/100th scale trophy, or golden trophy, and then the Starship Block 2 1/100th scale golden trophy, either with the black heat shield or without. So, yeah, pretty cool, if I do say so myself. So if you are feeling generous and also just think these models are cool and you don't have a 3D printer, for not that much money, you can have me print them for you, and I will send you them, either painted, non-painted, with a stand, without a stand. Doesn't matter to me. So go check out that store. That is my sponsors for today, and yeah, so that is basically it for this stream. This is Matthew from SXP, signing off. So I will see you guys next stream. I don't remember what the next stream is going to be, but I will see you guys next stream. Again, this is Matthew from SXP.